President Biden is here in San Diego right now. He came to announce a historic partnership with Australia and the United Kingdom.
And the president landed at Naval Air Station North Island, then headed over to Naval Base Point Loma, where he met with the prime ministers of Australia and the UK. He has a busy schedule of meetings that are going to take him up to the North County tonight.
And we have team coverage of the president's visit. We begin with Jamie Chambers, though, live in Point Loma right now. Jamie.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out here lining up on the streets watching President Biden head into that historic meeting. And we can take you now into that meeting as we show you some pictures of what's going on right now inside Naval Base Point Loma. That is where President Biden is meeting with the Prime Minister of Australia, talking about working through the negotiated sale of as many as 5 nuclear submarines, a major move to shore up security in the South China Sea as tensions with China continue through that. We're waiting just now for the security of this motorcade to move through, but all day long, President Biden has been moving very swiftly all over San Diego. The Boeing VC-24A touched down around noon as the mobile office of the presidency, better known as Air Force One, landed at Naval Air Station North Island. The motorcade swept the president to Naval Base Point Loma as residents came out of their homes to see Mr. Biden pass by.
I've never seen anything like it. Just this huge barrage, just this parade of police and military vehicles. And then I saw the 3 presidential limousines.
A lone protester wearing Trump's slogan, "Keep America Great," wanted the president to see her.
It disappoints me that not more Californians, San Diegans are aware of what's going on in our country.
Another group of protesters were calling on the president to reform immigration to be more humane, hoping to restore Friendship Park, a spot along the southern-western border where families from Mexico and America can use to visit one another.
My sense of President Biden is that he and his family members are people who deeply care for others and who have big hearts.
It's politics aside, it's always impressive to see the motorcade and Air Force One make its way to San Diego. Now President Biden is expected to head over to Rancho Santa Fe this evening for a fundraising dinner, then to Del Mar for a meeting with the Democratic National Committee. Tomorrow, President Biden is making his way up to Monterey Park in Los Angeles County to talk about gun violence. And that really is the very latest, waiting now for the motorcade to start making its way to his next meeting. That's very latest. From Naval Base Point Loma, Jamie Chambers, Fox 5 News.
All right, our Jamie Chambers with that. The president's visit to San Diego was to unveil landmark deals with the UK and Australia to ramp up underwater capabilities.
And Fox 5's Liberty Zabala also at Naval Base Point Loma with why the 3 leaders say this deal will help keep all of their countries safe.
The president and the prime ministers of the UK and Australia wrapped their remarks here at Naval Base Point Loma, right in front of a Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarine, which is what these 3 nations will work to build up their fleets with.
Forging this new partnership, we're showing again how democracies can deliver our own security and prosperity. And not just for us, but for the entire world.
President Joe Biden unveiled a strategic partnership between the U.S., UK, and Australia known as AUKUS to develop fleets of nuclear-powered attack submarines.
This is the first time in 65 years, and only the second time in history, that the United States has shared its nuclear propulsion technology, and we thank you for it.
Under the deal, Australia plans to buy up to 5 of these submarines from the U.S. by the 2030s. This comes as China bolsters its own navy and expands territorial claims in the Indo-Pacific.
In the last 18 months, the challenges we face have only grown. Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, China's growing assertiveness, the destabilizing behavior of Iran and North Korea, all threaten to create a world defined by danger, disorder, and division.
The Australian military will also embed and train with the U.S. Navy and the Royal Navy by this year.
AUKUS has one overriding objective: to enhance the stability of the Indo-Pacific amid rapidly shifting global dynamics. in this first project is only beginning. More partnerships, more potential, more peace and security in the region lies ahead.
And the U.S. will start rotations of these nuclear-powered submarines to Australia as early as 2027. For now, at Naval Base Point Loma, Liberty Zabala, Fox 5 News.